Hey, how's it going? In our last video I showed you how to build up the 3 basic modules of our simple sorting system, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to build up the rest of the modules so you know how to turn it and stack it and do all kinds of other things. And also in this video I'll describe how the redstone works in case you're interested in that. And welcome back to the Item Sorter 1.1 world. And just to give a quick explanation on what these actually do before we get to building, is they're pretty much all pieces of the item sorter that all do a different task. So maybe that's turning, or maybe that's sorting items into a shulker box, but you could piece any one of these little functions together to create a fully customized item sorter. And here's a quick tour of what they do. So these are all of our inputs. This is an input using minecarts, and this is an input where you can put in shulker boxes. And then we have our starting system and a few basic modules, so this just sorts it into a chest, while this one sorts items into the shulker box. And then we have a few different movement ones, so these ones turn the system, these ones go up and down, and this one will loop the item sorter back around so you could stack on top of what you already had built. And what this set does is it allows you to go from the multi-item sorter to a single bulk item sorter, and you could expand that as many times as you like with this, and this just goes from the bulk back to the multi-item sorter. And then we have these two, which takes a single item out of the system, so you could put something like coal in there, and then you could have that coal feed into your super smelter, or just something kind of like that. And the final one is this one, and this is just what you put at the end, so any items that can't be sorted just get stored in here. And here's the first of 2 examples to show you how this thing actually connects up. So you can see I'm using all these different modules to do all these different movements, and they all connect up together into one system. And this is another system that I'm going to build in a future video, but you can see how we have all of our different modules all pieced together to create a full system. And now we're going to get to building. Now I'm going to build a system like this one, just to show you how each module connects on. And so I'm just going to build up our starting system, but since I showed that in the last video, I'm just going to quickly speed through it. And there we go. I'm also just going to quickly speed build just the basic module. And now that that's all done, we're going to go this way a little bit to show you how to build some other input stuff. And for the build now, I'm going to be using andesite just so it's a bit easier to see each of the individual blocks. And now for our shulker box system, we're going to build out 4 blocks and up 2. And that leaves us with 3 empty spaces for the 3 shulker boxes, but you could actually expand this quite a bit bigger if you wanted to. But next we're just going to build up 3 stairs in between the top here. And then place your button of any kind in the top left corner. And that button will be powering 2 repeaters back here, so place down your 2 blocks with 2 repeaters up on top. And then those repeaters then power another block, and then that block powers a redstone line of 4 redstone, so just like this. But you can see this redstone right here connects up, so we're going to place a block on top just to separate those 2 lines. And now we need to place down some repeaters, so place a slab in this one spot here, but these other 2 spots could be normal blocks. And then on top of these 3 blocks go 3 repeaters, all with 1 additional delay. And those are pointing into 3 blocks with 3 pistons underneath. And now our button should power these 3 pistons, so next we need to add in our hoppers and our hopper locking system. So the hoppers are easy, we just go right here and extend this 1, 2, 3, and 4. And to lock them, we go underneath this block right here and place in a redstone dust that trails off to these other 3 and then powers 3 repeaters all on their normal delay. And to finish our build, we just need to close in this space by placing a normal block here, and then I like to place 3 light sources up on top, but you could always just place any other block. And now we could take a shulker box full of items and put it on top of here, and those items will drain out into the sorting system, but whenever we want to get the shulker box back, we could just press this button and it dispenses out. And now for our next module, we're going to build the Minecart Input. So start off by just building a U like this with 7 blocks, and at the top of it, we're going to place in a stair. And then in the back, we're going to extend our hopper line with 1, 2, and 3 hoppers until we end up with this area. And we could also place in our minecart rails with 1 powered rail on top of the hopper and 1 normal one, or even 1 powered rail in this spot. And to build the redstone for powering this rail, we just take a comparator out of this hopper, pointing into a block with a torch on top, and then a block on top of the torch and a block next to it with a redstone dust on top of this one, powering the rail. And that's pretty much it for the receiving system. Let's now build up the delivery system. So just expand this minecart rail wherever you want to have your other input. And also make sure that this has at least some kind of power on it, so the minecart doesn't get stuck. So wherever we want this to be, we just go in front of the minecart rail and place on a block, and on the left side we go 1, 2, 3, and then on this side we go over 2, and then up 2, and over 1. And now we place a chest in this spot right here, and we want to make sure to place it from this angle, so that way it's sideways like this, and we can make a large chest. And then I like just to seal up this top section by adding in some slabs. So for your minecart rails, start off by placing a normal one on top of this block, and then a detector one going down like this, and a powered one at the end of it. And we're also going to place in 2 more blocks, one in front of the powered rail, and one to the side of the detector rail. And now to power this rail, we're going to place a lever on this block and click it down. And then also this lever is going to be powering a comparator, which we're going to want to put into a subtract mode, because it's going to be subtracting from this comparator, which is detecting from the detector rail. And that comparator is powering a block, then powering a repeater with 1 additional delay on it like that, and then this block with a torch on top. And now we want to take our sticky piston and place it to the side of the torch with the block in front of it. And now just to finish up our redstone, we need to run a signal out of this chest as well. And so to do that, we're going to start off by placing an observer facing upwards like this, with a redstone down on top of it. And then we also have a block to the side of the observer with a comparator pointing into the redstone dust above it. And our final step is to place down the minecart hopper on the detector rail. And now when any items are added to this chest, it fills up the hopper minecart, and whenever this hopper minecart is either full or this chest is empty, it gets sent off to deliver them to the sorting system. So here's what that looks like. You load your items in here, and it actually does something a bit weird where it sends it right away, but it doesn't matter too much, because once it's done deloading everything at this spot, it just goes right back and fills up again. And so one more thing to point out about this is you want to make sure to have this rail wherever it is completely loaded in, because if you build a super long one, it's not going to be loaded, and then the minecart will kind of just get stuck at wherever the end of the rendering is. So that's just something to keep in mind. But it looks like our hopper minecart grabbed all those items and sorted them over. So we have all of our inputs done, so let's add some more to the actual sorting system. And the next thing we're going to build is the shulker box storage spot. So just build up at the edge of this, 3 blocks like that, then go over 2 and build up 3 more, and in between these blocks at the top and bottom we're going to place in 2 stairs. And next for our hoppers and droppers, we place one facing upwards with this hopper pointing into it, and then one facing towards kind of this little window, and now we have 3 hoppers, so place down a temporary block so you can have this hopper pointing into it, and then we have another hopper pointing into this one, another temporary block here with a hopper pointing into it. We could remove this one then, and then grab a shulker box, and we're going to place it in this little window, just like this. So again, here's how all the hoppers should look. And for the redstone, we place a block at the top hopper, then 2 here, then underneath this one is a redstone dust, and then there's 2 repeaters on top of this. And now we need to figure out what to do next, because we could have just kept going straight, but here Brian came and dropped all these anvils here, and they're just way too heavy to move. So to avoid this obstacle, we're going to do a turn. And so our block structure for that turn looks like this. We're just going to go out 1, 2, and 3, then up 2, and then we're going to build up 3 more blocks here, and just 2 more like this. And then in these 2 empty spaces, we're going to place down a chest in the middle part, and some stairs on top. Same for this one, a chest in the middle, and some stairs on top. And now for our droppers, we're going to come back here, place one upwards, one pointing in this direction, and then our next set of droppers, one upwards here, and now this one in this direction. And then for our hoppers, we're going to place a temporary block, this hopper pointing in that direction, this one pointing into the chest, and then this one pointing into the bottom dropper here, and this one pointing into the chest. Oh, I just realized I used smooth quartz here. It doesn't matter much though. But anyway, the redstone for this is really easy. It's just a dot down here, with a block on top, then another block, and a repeater. And now that we swerved clear of Herobrine's obstacle, we're going to turn back and continue on in this direction. So our block structure for the inwards turn looks like this. It's just 3 blocks, up 2, and another 2 out here. And then the chest is just our 4 chests again, and our 4 stairs on top of them. And then our droppers and hoppers get a bit wacky for this one, but it's one facing upwards, one in that direction, and one upwards here for this chest, same sort of thing. Then we do our hopper formation, temporary block with a hopper pointing that way and into the chest, and then we place one off this dropper and we carry it around this corner, and we also put one into this chest. And our redstone blocks just go like this, one at the top of the dropper, we carry it around the corner, like that, one at the top of the dropper, and one more down here. And then our redstone goes like this, some dust, then a repeater, 4 more dust, another repeater, and another repeater. Oh no, I just got back from petting my sandwich and eating some cat food, and it looks like Herobrine came back again. I think we're gonna need to use our elevator module. So that just looks like this. We go 3 blocks out, and we go up 3 here, over 1, and then up another 2. And then we place 1 more block right here. And now these 2 spaces are for our chest and stairs, so the chest goes in that spot, the stairs go up there, and it's the same sort of thing up on top. So for our droppers and such, it starts out normal, we go back here and place 1 upwards, and 1 in this direction, and then for the hoppers it's the same thing too, 1 pointing there, 1 into the chest. But then once we build that up, we take our droppers and we go all the way up until we get to this chest, and we place a dropper pointing like that. And then the hoppers is the same sort of thing, temporary block with the hopper pointing that way, and then the other one into the chest. And for our redstone blocks, we make a little V like this at the bottom, then we skip a block and place 1 here, and also next to this bottom hopper. Oh wait, hold on, I forgot the redstone dust that was supposed to go here for our turning module, but for this system we place 2 redstone dust in between these 2 spaces, with a repeater in between them pointing in that direction, and that repeater points into a block with a torch on top, and another torch up here that's also powering a repeater. And then to get over this fire, we're just going to build one of the basic modules just to extend out a bit, and there's one unique thing I want to show you with this, that's just a little bit weird. So it's pretty much that with the redstone, you need to place another block down like that, and this could be a slab or sling so it takes up a little bit less room so you could walk under easier or something, but on top of this goes our redstone dust, and on top of this goes our repeater. And I pretty much just extended that far enough so we're clear of this mess, but now we could go back down to floor level. For our block structure, it's pretty much going to be a mirrored version of this one, so we go out 1, 2, and 3, and then up 2, and then in this middle spot we're going to go down all the way to the floor and over 2. And then it's just the chest on top of these 2 blocks, and the stairs on top of the chest. So then for the dropper boppers, it goes 1 facing up, 1 this direction, and then down here we actually only need 1 dropper pointing like that. So then the hoppers, we go to the back of this dropper, we place 1 into the back of it, and then these could all just point into the hopper below them, except for this one points into the chest, and then we do our same formation we've already done a few times for this. And then the redstone blocks just look like this, so we have 2 there, 2 here, and 1 like that. And on top of those blocks goes a repeater, another repeater, a dust, and a dust. And this is actually me from the end of the video, but I forgot to show how to build our wraparound module, so I wanted to add that in right now. And I'm going to show you how to build that off of just our basic module, like this one over here. So just go to the side of it and build a 3 block, and then build up 5 from there, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then on our 3rd block up, or right in the middle, we're going to tower out another 2. And then these little spaces, we're going to add in our chest, and our stairs on top. And then same here, our chest, and our stairs on top. And now for our droppers and hoppers, we're going to tower up 1 this way, and 1 out like that. And then in this spot, we're going to have 1 pointing upwards, and we're going to place a hopper off of that, and also a hopper into our chest. Then we're going to take this and tower up with all these facing upwards until we reach our chest. Once we're there, we're going to tower out 2 this way. And then we're just going to place down a temporary block to place our hopper off of, and then we're going to place another hopper into that chest. And now for our redstone, just place down these 3 blocks with 2 redstone at the bottom, and 1 repeater in between them. And that repeater is pointing into this torch block, and on top of this goes another block and another torch, and even another block. And then that powers this redstone dust here, and then we place on another block for the redstone dust to power this repeater. And one thing to point out is that this section should be powered for you, since you should have this hooked up to your starting clock, which should have all this redstone and this redstone powered. And just to show you how to expand from there, because it gets a little bit different, so we're going to build another basic module, and the big thing to point out with it is that it's now mirrored, so the droppers and everything are facing the other way now, so you can see how this is kind of opposite of what we've been doing, and the hoppers look like this, and another hopper into that chest, and also the redstone is mirrored just like this. And for our next system, I'm going to show you how to add in a bulk storage spot, so if you just have a whole bunch of one item, this is the easy way to store them. So for the blocks, it's just 3 over and then up 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we could place in our 2 stairs and the 2 chests right here, and then we're also going to place in our bulk chest, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, 10. So pretty much we have a total of 5 large chests, and on top of them could go the 2 stairs. And we got quite a few hoppers and droppers to place down, so let's start out with building this. Then we're going to place in another dropper in this location, so we could then place a hopper off of it, then a hopper off of that hopper, and a hopper into this chest. And then this dropper points into another dropper that we're going to bring all the way up until we reach the very highest point, and this very top one is going to point in this direction. So then for the hoppers, we're going to want to place in some temporary blocks, so I'm going to place one there and there, and then this hopper points into this temporary block, and we could break it then, and this hopper points into this temporary block, and so it looks like this. This one points in this direction, and this one points towards the chest. And then we could fill in the rest of our hoppers, all these just point into the chest next to them. Then for our item sorter and elevator redstone, it looks like this, so some dust down there, a block on top of it, a block next to it, and a repeater pointing out into this. Then it just goes a block, 1 torch, a block, 2 torch, a block, 3 torch, and a block. And then we're going to place a redstone dust right here. It's not really that important yet, but what it's going to do is when we go back from the bulk storage to the multi-item storage, this is what will carry the signal through it. So our final bit of redstone for this is to make our actual item filter. So we're going to place in our first 3 blocks at this level, so it's pretty much flush with that chest. And then to finish up our blocks, we're going to place in one like that, one there, another one there, and we're done for blocks, and we get this weird little formation. And then the redstone for it looks like this, a comparator coming out of the hopper, pointing into some redstone dust, then a repeater in this little location, and you can leave that at the delay it is, and then a torch on the wall of this block. And now if we go into this hopper, we can place some items in here without them flowing out. So to set up our item filter, we're just going to fill in all these spaces with the item we want to sort, and since this is probably going to be an item you're going to have a lot of since you want bulk storage for it, this is the item filter I'd recommend. So you pretty much just fill in all these spaces, but then for this one, you fill it all the way up to 41, and so now this is how it should look, and any additional items you add on should flow out, so it always stays at 41. And any of those items should flow down to this bottom chest, but since we have this redstone dust in this form right now, it's kind of messing with it. I guess we get to switch it like that for now, and it will work good, but you can see that they all make it down to the bottom like this. And now we can look at how to add in another bulk item if you wanted to have another little storage spot. So for that, we're just going to mimic this exact layer right here. So it's just going to go our 5 large chests like this, then our 2 stairs on top. Then we're going to take our hoppers, and it's going to be the same sort of thing. The very top one points in this direction, then this one points in that direction, and all these point into their chest. Then we carry our redstone dust like this, we repeat all these blocks, and we build in our redstone inside them. So a repeater like that, a torch like this, a comparator, our 3 redstone, and another thing to point out is that these are right next to each other, so the redstone can interfere, but since the items are coming in at a pretty slow rate, you can't really get too much overflowing. And then we once again just fill this up with whatever item we want to be sorted, and you can just throw in a whole stack like that if you want to. It will automatically level out to the 41 number. And now you can add as many of those bulk items as you like, but once you're done with that, here's how you go from the bulk storage back to the multi-item sorter. And the way that I actually built this module includes another one of the bulk items, but I'll just split it off here just to show you how to build the actual ending system. And we start off by placing in these blocks to kind of seal in the edge, so it looks like that. And we also place in our chest structure, which is 2 blocks, 2 chests, and 2 stairs. And then for the droppers and hoppers, we could start off by placing in our basic little system like this, for this chest, and then we need to connect up this dropper to that hopper, so we could do that by placing a hopper off of here, then towering all the way up with them until we get to the top, and we place one more just to connect those two. And then the redstone looks just like this. We run a repeater off our redstone line, and that repeater points into a block, powering these 2 redstone. Then we place another block right there to split up the redstone, and a block here, with a repeater on top of it. And now we successfully gone from multi to the bulk storage and back to the multi-item sorter. And we pretty much just have one more system to build other than just our end chest, and that's the item output line. And also with these, they're pretty much the same except for this little section here. So I'm going to show you how to build pretty much the main structure both at the same time, and then I'll just show you how to do these unique pieces at the end. So start off by building up 3 blocks like this, then going over 4 and building up 3 more. And none of this stuff really matters much, but I just like to place in 3 stairs at the bottom and at the top, and in between them just place in some glass. And in the back of it, we place in our droppers by placing in 2 upwards, and then 1 facing like this. And the hoppers are a bit crazy on this one, but we could start off by just placing these temporary blocks to place our hopper off of like that, and then this one points into that hopper, and it trails all the way over to our dropper. And now we're going to place in another temporary block for our hopper, and then a hopper into that one, and this one points into the glass. And to power our droppers, we're going to place down a note block, and then a normal block, and a redstone dust on top. And we're also going to take a signal of this redstone dust for our future systems, and so to do that we're going to go up 1, 2, and 3 with the block off it like this, and then we're going to place in a repeater on this block pointing there, and then another block to power the repeater. And then that line extends over to this redstone dust, and then we place in 3 more blocks, and then it goes a repeater and 2 more dust. And to finish it up we just need 1 more repeater, which goes like this. And next we're going to build up our item filter redstone, so we need 3 blocks. Then in between here goes a comparator running out of this hopper, and that powers 2 dust, and then we finish it by adding a torch on the wall of the block here. And now comes the decision of whether you want a hopper line or a water line. So the hopper line is quite easy. You just place it on a temporary block and a hopper off of it, and you just drag that hopper line all the way back until it connects to this hopper. And so that's it, all finished. And then you could pretty much just take that hopper line and have it run wherever you want it to go. And I just restored everything to how it was to place in our water line. So for that you place in a dropper pointing in this direction, and then you want to seal in the water line by placing in 2 blocks and a block there, and then you can just place a block or a glass up on top like this. And then to keep on extending that water line you just extend out these blocks. The water bucket goes right in there, and then you could have your ice and water to go as far as you like. And we could wrap things up by building up our end module right now, but I want to show you how to build up just one more basic module, since there's a bit of a weirdness with this one. And so the weirdness is that this one kind of overlaps into whatever you're going to have here next, but just to show you how it all connects up, we're just going to build up the basic one right here. And so there's the droppers and chests and everything, and for the redstone it instead just looks a little bit like this, so it has a bit of a weird turn to it. Oh wait, one more thing is actually with this basic module, you could leave it like this, but this technically doesn't need to be a dropper since our hopper feeds into the top one already, so you could just put a normal block there to save a dropper if you want. And we could finally wrap things up by building up our end system. Now let's quickly go through this one. It's just like this, with 2 stairs and 2 stairs, and then our light goes on this side, so further away from the chest. Our chest goes sideways and then like that, and then the droppers is just 1 upwards and 1 in this direction, and to power it takes this redstone and block, and then we just need our comparator to power the light, so it just goes like this with a block in front, 2 more blocks there, then a repeater and the redstone. And here's our system all done using pretty much every module we have. And just remember that you can mix and match these in pretty much any way you want. There's just a few exceptions, like this bulk storage can't go immediately into this system, but pretty much everything is compatible with everything else. And also one other thing to mention is that you can mirror any of these modules to have them go in the other direction, so you could have your starting system on this side if you wanted, and the flow of the items be the opposite way. And I promised I would talk about how the redstone works, so here's a super quick explanation. So pretty much any items you put into here flow into the dropper, which gets detected by the comparator starting a clock. That clock then sends pulses through this whole redstone line, and that does 2 things. That activates these droppers to move the items through the system, but more importantly it locks this bottom hopper right as this dropper fires, which gets an item stuck in this top hopper, and that item will try to flow into the chest while this hopper is locked, and for that little bit of time it'll try to do that, but if it's not able to, the hopper below it gets unlocked and it moves to the next module, and it continues that through all these different systems. But if this helped you out, a like would be much appreciated, and if you have any other questions, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see some other redstone builds, like how to build a fully secure combination lock, I'll have that at the end of this video. But thank you so much for watching. I'll have some more item sorter videos coming out soon. I appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
So the first two things we're going to do is talk about how these little modules actually work, and then I'll do a quick speed running, and now here's what each one of these, and now here's probably the weirdest one, here's probably the weirdest one, you could